But I wanted to get to a bigger point. Because the time comes, somewhat pun intended, for us to take the gloves off when it comes to Jake Paul.
Loses a unanimous decision to Jake Paul in 2025. The fight has not even played out yet.
Fix other fights. It's not fair. It's the embarrassment on boxing. He shouldn't be doing this. It's so embarrassing. He's fighting old men.
Stephen A. Smith blasts Jake Paul, accusing him of staging potentially rigged fights and deliberately picking much older opponents. Furious, Smith declares it's time to take the gloves off, both literally and figuratively. He slams Jake's pattern of facing fighters well past their prime, pointing to the planned bout with 58-year-old Mike Tyson as a prime example. Smith calls the matchup dangerous and unethical, alleging that Jake uses massive paychecks to lure aging legends into the ring purely for profit.
These are the kind of things that I'm talking about here. Boxing's a skill. Let me give y'all an example. Remember Francis Ngannou? Remember that monster? That Nigerian nightmare? Remember him? And then we saw him show up and show a little skill against Tyson Fury, who came there out of shape. What happened when he got into the ring with Anthony Joshua? He got put to sleep, much in the same way Nate Robinson got put to sleep. Boxing is a skill. Jake Paul is a professional. He trains. At some point in time, I don't give a damn if it's a light heavyweight. Beterbiev, Bivol, a super middleweight, Canelo, Mexican monster, David Benavidez, somebody that actually has a reputation.
A wave of confusion swept through viewers during the 7th round of Jake Paul's fight against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., when some fans noticed online sources already listing Jake as the winner. The premature announcement sparked serious concerns about the fight's integrity. How could a platform show the outcome before the final bell? The incident has intensified suspicions of predetermined results, adding fuel to persistent allegations that Jake Paul's boxing career is rigged. For skeptics, it wasn't merely a technical glitch. It looked like proof of behind-the-scenes manipulation.
As you are watching this video, Jake Paul and Julio Cesar Chavez are currently right now in the 7th round of their fight. But when you go to Google and Google the fight, it gives an accurate breakdown of all their past fights. And then it comes to the current fight, and it says that Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. loses a unanimous decision to Jake Paul in 2025. The fight has not even played out yet. Yet they're saying that this is the end results as they are fighting right now, currently as it stands. This leans testament to the fact that people state that Jake Paul has his fights fixed. What's your thoughts on this? This is nasty work. Unbelievable. This is Google. Google it yourself. Peace.
Many fans struggled to reconcile Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.'s unusually passive performance with the fierce reputation he once held. Throughout much of the bout, he seemed oddly stationary, showing little of the aggression expected from a seasoned boxer. His lack of offense raised suspicions, especially in the final 2 rounds, when his few thrown punches appeared more like an effort to save face than a genuine attempt to win. Viewers even coined the nickname Fake Paul, suggesting Jake wasn't facing true resistance and hinting that the fight felt more like a stage performance than a real sporting contest.
Under 40 in 6 months. And he's been off the El Chapitos. He's been off the El Mayo Zambada up his nose. So he's probably more like 48 adjusted. A 48-year-old man. Okay? There's numerous angles here, right? Was he paid not to throw punches? That's possible. Is he just 48 in La Coca years? That's also possible. What we know for a fact is, Fake Paul's useless, honestly. He's proper useless. Chavez like this, standing there. No pace. The last few rounds he had a little bit of pace. Even then, Fake Paul just clings on though. Fake Paul's, I've been saying this, Fake Paul's got no inside at all. He's got no stand, and let's have a look. Let's work here. If he's coming at me. He clings on for dear life. He kind of pushes his punches out, slap, slap, slap. No, all this talk of power. These dudes. Chavez actually, he looked a bit smaller than Fake Paul. Fake Paul's not a cruiserweight. He's a light heavyweight, honestly. He's so soft. He's got like these big rubber dinghy arms. Big rubber, soft. Not. Chavez looked more like an athlete. But that'll be on. Well, is Jake Paul going to fight anyone? They're already walking back the Zerdo situation. Oh, Zerdo don't sell. Well, we knew Zerdo didn't sell.
People are still tweeting about it, with many fans questioning the legitimacy of the fight. A lot of viewers feel something was off and continue debating it online. Skeptics point to Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.'s lack of offense as suspicious and insist the fight was rigged. One user, @__whisper, tweeted, "Jake Paul fight clearly rigged. No way a real boxer sat there for 8 rounds barely throwing a punch, but in the last 2 rounds he starts to really box and looked fresh as hell. Nah, you can't tell me nothing." He was told to lose this fight and in the end try and get the win. Mismatched fights involving stars like Jake Paul have become more common, attracting fans who are drawn to the spectacle rather than the sport itself. The novelty of influencers stepping into the boxing ring generates massive interest, but at a cost. True boxing fans lament that these matches prioritize marketability over merit, with hype overshadowing fair competition. When a name like Chavez Jr. is involved, people expect a real fight, not a scripted performance. Yet, with more eyes watching than ever, controversy has become the fuel that keeps this brand of entertainment alive.
Felt like boxing's pretty rigged overall.
Yes, Rick, dude. I mean, so many politics, even with, MMA, man, there's so many politics. There's no more art anymore. It's just, let's get an influencer in there. I get it. It's like generating money because our attention span is so short. You look at clips now, it's like 7 seconds. I saw a dude slamming a lady the other day and they were like, "Oh my God, that dude is," I'm like, well, what the do? I'm just going to pick somebody and slam them. Where's the whole video? And our attention span is just so small. So money talks, of course. Yeah, let's get an influencer in there who has no style, but it draws attention. It's just dumb.
There's another angle that has sparked intense debate. Some argue the issue wasn't a fixed fight, but simply about money. Julio's shockingly low punch count, just 13 punches over the entire fight, has led some to believe he didn't even bother to prepare. For these critics, it wasn't rigged. It was an easy payday. Many say Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. should have stepped in to protect the family legacy from what they're calling a public humiliation. Accepting the bout in such poor condition, they argue, felt like cashing in at the expense of pride.
A couple of shocking results. I think that Jake Paul on the cards and the promotional arm of his brand, I think, is the most fun part of what Jake Paul brings to boxing. Honestly, I think long term, I think that's what we can all hope for. Is Jake's fights are this one was borderline atrocious, and kind of the writing was on the wall. But I gotta admit, even I bought drank the Kool-Aid, and mainly I drank the Kool-Aid because Chavez Sr., who also is disgraceful for doing this, made me believe, and I think, this has been the problem with Chavez Jr. He's been enabled constantly by the media, the promoters, his family, and all this other stuff. So he never really shows up prepared. He never cares and just shows up to get paid and basically steals the bag every single time. And he did it tonight again. The reason I actually thought this fight had a chance was because Chavez Sr. Guaranteed us that his son was motivated and was having a training camp. So as much of a Hall of Fame career as the father had, he's the con artist, I guess, must run in the family because Junior has been a con artist his whole career, but at least he's been enabled through it, But now the father doing this, I mean, you knew already your son wasn't going to be ready. You put your own reputation on the line and sold us this crap. And then ultimately your son throws what most guys will throw in a round. He throws it through 10 rounds. It was actually kind of...
Jake Paul has firmly pushed back against the swirling rumors, particularly those surrounding his upcoming fight with Mike Tyson. He insists these accusations are baseless, fueled by jealousy or fear of his growing success. According to Jake, critics label every major fight as rigged to undermine his hard work. However, with many of his opponents being retired legends or inactive fighters, fans remain skeptical. The Tyson fight, in particular, has come under intense scrutiny, given Jake's history of controversial matchmaking.
After I beat Mike Tyson, the amount of people saying this is rigged was crazy. They showed this clip of Mike Tyson going to swing at me with a left hook, and he stopped doing it, but saw I had my right hand up. So he would have swung like this, I catch it, and shoot. He's leaning forward I could have knocked him out. So that's why he stopped throwing it. And it's they play this one clip and it has literally 50 million views on TikTok, but the average person doesn't understand boxing.
Boxing coach and former Olympian Tony Jeffries also weighed in on the debate, suggesting that people are often too quick to cry foul simply because they don't want to acknowledge Jake Paul's victories. He noted that while most of Jake's wins have come against older or less competitive opponents, that alone doesn't mean the fights were rigged. Jeffries wasn't exactly defending Jake's boxing skills, but rather challenging the public's tendency to label every win as scripted. He emphasized that although Jake's victories may not have come against elite fighters, it doesn't automatically mean those bouts were fake.
You might be raging and saying, but he's fixing the fights! It's not fair! It's an embarrassment on boxing! He shouldn't be doing this, it's so embarrassing, he's fighting old men!
Well, is it a fix? No, mate, it's not a fix. Is Julio Cesar Chavez past his best? Yes. Was Mike Tyson past his best? Absolutely, mate. Now, if you look at all of the great fighters, look at all of the records, and you can go on BOMBSHELL and see this, you'll see that they are fighting either one of two people. Either a person who's a journeyman, who's coming in there just to lose and give the fighter their experience, or they'll be fighting someone who might have been a former champion who is now past it. And finding these right opponents is key for the development of any fighter, not just someone like Jake Paul, but any fighter. Now, with Jake, because he's got so much attention on him, people are seeing this. Whereas normally fighters are not even live on TV until they've had X amount of fights. If you look at someone like Floyd Mayweather, look, we fought his 4th pro fight, or even his 10th pro fight. Some of these fights will not be on TV, and now Jake is on TV and he's fighting former world champions, which he's fought a few now. I think everyone should give him respect now as a fighter. Fighting someone like that and putting so much pressure on himself as well. Now, do I think that fight and other fights was rigged? Absolutely not. I think that Jake is very smart. He's picking the right fights, but at the same time, he's developed as a very good fighter now. There's no denying that he is a very good fighter now. Yes, he did lose that one fight to Tommy Fury by, was it a split decision?
Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., despite the backlash, insists he's not finished with boxing. He maintains that this fight was merely a bump in the road. However, fans remain skeptical. How could someone who threw so few punches still consider himself an active competitor? His post-fight comments did little to convince people of his motivation or preparation. Critics argue that his statement shows a lack of accountability and believe his performance sends the wrong message to young fighters who once looked up to him.
What was difficult to do in the fight tonight that you wanted to do but you couldn't?
Our confidence, first round, and come forward. But I think when I'm like back, it's not good for me. So if I'm fighting again, like I doing this. So take the punches, come forward, and try to be more inside, because when I see him inside, his punches don't have the same power. So I think I do a big mistake in these things, like fight a distance.
Yeah, that was what I was going to ask. I kept asking myself, why isn't he working on the inside, throwing body shots, hook, upper, you know?
Yes. So maybe more fights, a little more confidence. I need it, more confidence.
This bout with Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. isn't the first time a Jake Paul fight has been labeled as scripted. Jake has developed a reputation for staging matches that feel more like entertainment spectacles than genuine athletic contests. Fans have noticed a recurring pattern: aging opponents, easy victories, and maximum media hype. The upcoming fight with Mike Tyson has only deepened these suspicions, with some fans already dismissing it as a promotional gimmick rather than a fair competition. While Jake has certainly mastered the art of grabbing attention, it's also made him a frequent target for questions about his credibility in the boxing world.
More important and quite serious news in the combat sports world. Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul, it's come out now. It was rigged. I can't believe it. You know, you have to question the validity of boxing these days when you can't trust two professionals to get in the ring and do their best against each other. And instead you find out Mike Tyson pulling his punches, not trying to hurt Jake Paul. Absolute disgrace. I thought better of them.
Allegations surrounding the Mike Tyson fight include troubling claims that scripts were in place dictating how each fighter should behave in the ring, from controlled punches to choreographed moments. Some insiders have suggested the fight had elements of a rehearsed performance, further fueling the controversy. Reports have even hinted that Tyson could face financial penalties if he knocked Jake out too early. If true, such clauses suggest the fight may have been structured to ensure Jake emerged unscathed, both physically and in terms of his public image.
Y'all already know I'm mad about this fight. I really wasn't even going to talk about it because I already felt like it was a setup. But when Trick Daddy Dollars posted this on Instagram, it really just confirmed and solidified everything. So, Trick Daddy Dollars posted this on Instagram, and I'm going to read it to social media. So, it says the rules for the Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul fight are designed to favor Jake Paul. These include: the rules are extremely favorable to Jake Paul. The contract will incentivize Mike Tyson to lose and give Jake Paul an opportunity to choose himself as a winner. The first stipulation in the contract will punish Tyson for knocking out Jake because he is paid on a sliding scale per round. If Tyson knocks Jake out in the first round, he would receive no money. If he knocks him out in the second round, he would only make a small amount of cash. For Tyson to make the most money, he needs to survive all 8 rounds, which means avoiding knocking Jake Paul out. If the fight goes to a split decision, it favors Jake Paul because the judges have to be approved by Jake Paul. I'm gonna let y'all read it.
This kind of accusation has become almost routine in Jake Paul's career. Many fans believe Jake doesn't just pay his opponents to show up, but also to ensure they don't outshine him in the ring. These claims go beyond mere speculation, fueled by recurring suspicious patterns, low punch counts, the absence of knockdowns, and bizarre fight conclusions. After his win against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., Jake climbed into the top 15 of the cruiserweight rankings, a move that stunned many, given how little resistance he appeared to face. For critics, it felt less like a genuine boxing achievement and more like a carefully orchestrated PR victory.
Then you want us to respect Jake Paul as a fighter, but how you want me to respect this man as a boxer and he basically pays his opponents to lose? The culture didn't want to see that. All the 80s babies and people born in earlier time did not want to see that fight. And I think if I knew these rules, which I believe these rules make a lot of sense to why Mike Tyson really didn't fuck him up. And it's like, why do you think people want to continue to watch a Jake Paul fight when every time it's going to always be in his favor because people are paid to lose? Respectfully, that's not real boxing. That's not real fighting. I'm sorry. And I know for Tyson, he's retired anyway. He's still the champ. This fight didn't mean anything, but it meant everything for Mike Tyson fans. And I'm just like, I'm disappointed. And I wasn't even going to come on social media. But like I said, once I saw Trick Daddy post that, I was like,
Observers have pointed out that Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.'s body language and lack of effort seemed unnatural throughout the fight. The 13 punches he did throw appeared soft, unfocused, and oddly delayed, making it look as if he was acting out a role rather than genuinely competing. Adding to suspicions were strange moments like glove biting that fueled speculation. These elements created the impression of pre-planned sequences rather than spontaneous athletic action. Whether mere coincidence or something more, incidents like these continue to blur the line between sport and spectacle in Jake Paul's world. At the same time, many believe the fight wasn't scripted and argue that critics simply refuse to accept that Jake has genuinely achieved success in the ring. They insist his performances speak for themselves and accuse detractors of making excuses to downplay his hard work and accomplishments. Despite the backlash, some, like Adam Smith, view Jake Paul's journey as groundbreaking. From YouTube star to headline boxer, his rise has been anything but conventional. While controversy constantly shadows him, Jake's ability to command attention and dominate fight conversations is undeniable. His transformation into a boxing brand is a modern tale of influence, fame, and calculated business strategy. Whether fans see him as a true fighter or a fraud, one thing is clear. Jake Paul's story is firmly cemented in the current era of crossover boxing.
I mean, if he does, it's going to be one of the great stories of this generation, isn't it? They start off as YouTubers, as influencers. I love working with Logan Paul and KSI when we did that fight together. It was the sort of start of it. My kids love what they've done, the whole Misfits thing. Look, yeah, I love it. I mean, I'm a hardcore boxing fan, and that European title fight doesn't get any better. But Jake Paul has millions and millions of followers.
That's it for today's video. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more updates and deep dives in the world of boxing.